Good evening and welcome to Altos, a weekly Catholic news television program here on Trinity TV. Thank you for joining us. I'm Roger Sand, sitting in for Neil Parsonlal. Here are top stories this week. Felix Brown is Teacher of the Year for 2023. He's from Bethlehem Boys. We speak to him about this award. Clergy from this province concluded a workshop they've been meeting for the past week. We'll tell you what they've been discussing. It's carnival time in TNT. We hear from Moko Jumbies to Fancy Sailor Mass. And later in our interview segment, we chat with Deacon Derek Walcott about carnival and what happened to the Catholic band. Our top story this week, the Frank B. Stipesard Teacher of the Year 2023 is Felix Brown. He is from Bethlehem Boys RC, which is located on Besson Street in Port of Spain. The award ceremony was held last week, and Laura Pickford-Gordon tells us more.
A guard of honor was held at the Bethlehem Boys RC School on Monday, January 29th, for Standard 2 teacher Felix Brown, who has been at the school for the 15 years of his teaching career. He dedicated his win to all the unknown teachers, giving tireless service in and out of classrooms.
So this is a win for all of us, and especially for the East Port of Spain area that has been so covered with negativity. I believe teachers are the pillars of society because we have the future in our classrooms. We do not know which student will be the prime minister, which student will be future doctor, which one will be the future mechanic.
Brown spearheaded and implemented several school improvement initiatives with the principal and staff, including the chess club, gentlemen's club, and sports committee. Brown describes his experience teaching with 3 words: inspirational, determination, and transformational.
Using my own experience, living in hotspots, living in different environments, to show them that if I can make it, you can make it too. So you want to change that hopelessness to something positive and to stop that at the gate of the school. So when they enter a new environment where they could learn alternative thinking to one that is outside.
Brown thanked God for the inspiration, protection, skills, patience, and opportunities to make a difference in his role as teacher.
You're making a contribution to society, and you're making a contribution to your future, because if you producing young men who will go out there to make a difference, you could rest assured that you have contributed to society.
I am Laura Pickford-Gordon for Catholic News, Altos.
Congratulations to him. Well, for the past week, clergy belonging to the province of Port of Spain have been meeting in Mayaro for a workshop on family life. The theme was, I place watchmen upon your towers, O Jerusalem. Presentations dealt with gender theory and ideology, technology and the family, the dangers of pornography, spousal relationship and the sacrament of marriage, sexual integration and celibacy, sex education in schools and canon law, and the theology of the marriage sacrament. Bishop Robert Lianos of the Diocese of St. John's Baste chairs the Family and Life Commission of the Antilles Episcopal Conference. He explains the reason for this workshop.
AEC Family and Life Workshop is an effort on our part, on the part of our commission, to reach all the clergy of the AEC and enable them to acquire tools, understanding, to be able to deal with all the current issues that seem to be circulating in our society today, and for which many people don't have answers, are deeply confused, misunderstood, or misled. So our effort here is to empower and enable all of our clergy, deacons, religious, to come to a deeper and clearer understanding of these issues. When we prepare them, then the people that they minister to, the people that they lead, the people that they pastor, will be able to draw on their knowledge, draw on their own experiences, and draw on their ability to help persons to negotiate and maneuver through their particular growth issues, as well as accompany them on their own journey, life's journey. So that's really what the workshop is about.
The province of Port of Spain comprises the Archdiocese of Port of Spain and the Diocese of Georgetown, Guyana, Paramaribo, Suriname, Williamstead, Curacao, and Bridgetown, Barbados. The Moko Jambi band, known as Moko Samaka, which translates into Moko family, has found beauty in tragedy. Following the murder of 2 key members in 2023, the band's designer, Alan Vaughan, had the painstaking task of finding the motivation and the theme for the 2024 presentation, and it came in the form of a eulogy. The band, which has been around since 2017, will be portraying In Heaven as It Is on Earth this year. The interpretation speaks of life, death, and the afterlife. Here is Klaisha Best with more.
When you think of words to describe a Moko Jambi, otherworldly is one that comes straight to mind. The way in which they tower over us, walking gracefully and yet powerfully through the streets or across the stage. Their movements, accentuated by their many fabrics, paints pictures. It was this ethereal picture that attracted Irish-born, UK-based art designer Alan Vaughan to the art form when he first visited our shores over 30-odd years ago. As he tells it, Moko Samokao was created to provide Moko Jambi dancers across the country with a space to call home.
Moko Samokao is a Moko Jambi band, primarily Moko Jambis. We do have some ground walkers as well when we come out for carnival and some supporters, but it's based on Moko Jambi, and it exists all year round, but it's primarily a carnival band. So we founded it because there's a lot of Moko Jambis in Trinidad, Moko Jambis who want to go out for carnival wearing costume. And it's a very difficult thing to put on the road. It's a lot of organisation and a lot of expense, etc. So we call it Moko Family, so we welcome any Moko Jambis who want to come on the road with us.
The 2024 presentation, In Heaven as It Is on Earth, was inspired partly by educator Roderick Sanatan, who died in 2015, and the 2 band members, Moko Jambi's Shervan Shermu Clark and Nicholas Nico Brazan, who were both murdered in 2023.
Band is kind of focused on, again, going back to Roger, what did these people bring when they were here on Earth, And so the concept is in heaven as it is on earth, which means that heaven is welcoming these people who have died here because of the goodness which they did on earth. So it's a very kind of deep emotional thing for us. So when we go on stage, when we're performing, we will be communing with their spirit, but celebrating the beauty of their life on earth.
Vaughan said the band falls in the mini category and it works best for them as a traditional mass band.
We're comfortable as a mini band. I think the small bands start at 50. We should have around 35, 40 people probably.
Moko Samokao will be hosting the launch and blessing of their band this Sunday, 4th February, at the Art Society of Trinidad and Tobago on Jamaica Boulevard, Federation Park from 5 p.m. I am Klaisha Best for Catholic News, Altos.
And the Sailor Mass is one of our oldest carnival traditions dating back to the 19th century. There are different types of sailors, and one is the fancy sailor. Laura Pickford-Gordon spoke to Mass player Keith Simpson about his love for the fancy Sailor Mass.
Keith Simpson became fascinated with Fancy Sailor as a boy watching the parade of bands with his parents at the bleachers of the Queen's Park Savannah. His love of steel band and the Fancy Sailor Mass never waned.
I was always intrigued by the Sailor Mass, the Fancy Sailor, the dance, what they decorate with, which they call the swans down. I love swans down. I'll decorate my whole costume with swans down. And I enjoy the Sailor Mass. I still go and do NCC, and when people have private events, they will call a sailor to dance and so.
Simpson has many costumes from his portrayals as a member of the Belmont Original Stylish Sailors and presently Belmont Exotic Stylish Sailors. One of his costumes is on display at the National Carnival Museum at Charlotte Street.
Have them made with plain material, of course, and all that. You see the decoration that we put on ourselves. And you see the shoes here that we decorate. And then we have the sailor cap, which we also decorate. The sticks, because this is your focal point of your dance. When you dance, you have a balance with it.
Simpson, who is the vice president of Pan Trinbago, is a steel pan and traditional mass aficionado. He recalled the pioneers George Harding of Belmont, known as Diamond Jim, and the name synonymous with sailor mass, Jason Griffith. He is keeping tradition alive.
But sailors, I think it has costuming, it has dance, it has flair, it has powder. In the early days, I used to get the intestines or something from the cow and blow it up and hitting people with it. You know. So the sailor has a history.
I am Lara Pickford Gordon for Catholic News, Altos.
And you can read more about Fancy Sailor Mass in this week's edition of the Catholic News. And it's carnival season, so why not a book about the season? Rekindling Our Carnival Rhythms, Reigniting Our Soul is the title of Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon's new book. It delves into carnival history and invites creatives, producers, administrators, and consumers to deep reflection on the festival, which has its roots in the Catholic Church. The Archbishop presented the book to Winston Gypsy Peters, chairman of the National Carnival Commission, his deputy, Davlin Thomas, and Keith Simpson of Pan Trinbago. Recently, also present was Deacon Lennox Toucey. The book is now available for sale at Archbishop's House and Living Water Community Bookshop on Frederick Street at a cost of $100. An exhibit celebrating the 50th anniversary of Peter Minshall's 1974 presentation From the Land of the Hummingbird is on at Stallmeyer's Castle. A thesis by Vicar for Communications, Father Robert Christo, titled Interpreting the Mass Portrayals of Peter Minshall as Food for Religious Imagination, is part of this display. The exhibit is open Tuesday to Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 10 to 2. It runs until March 9th. And free to the public, more than enough time to pay it a visit. Well, in the region, in Grenada, the newly refurbished and expanded St. David's Catholic Primary School was officially handed over at a ceremony on Thursday, January 4th at the school's compound. Grenada's Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell, led the ceremony by cutting the ribbon to open the facility. He was joined by Education Minister David Andrew, Principal Nicole Batiste, and the student who all participated in unveiling the new structure. The refurbishment and expansion of St. David's amounted to almost $4 million EC dollars. The scope of work comprised renovations to 3 existing buildings, the construction of a new administrative building, various external improvements, including a fence, paved walkways, and the installation of a new electrical system and the refurbishment of all floors. Principal Nicole Batiste expressed her elation, emphasizing the positive impact this will have on the school and its students. And in some world news, the non-denominational organization Open Doors International says that 365 million Christians are persecuted worldwide. In the World Watch list presented to the Italian House of Deputies in January, the report listed the top 50 most dangerous countries for Christians and the growing trend of attacks on churches and church property. In 2023, there were 14,766 attacks on churches, Christian-run schools, hospitals, and cemeteries, 7 times more than 2022. The list also stated that approximately 4,998 Christians were killed for their faith in 2023, with Nigeria at 82% of that total. Nigeria was ranked the 6th most dangerous country for Christians. Libya, Somalia, and North Korea are the top 3 countries where Christians face extreme persecution. Open Doors International details the violence in these countries.
Libya is number 3 on the list. Libya considers itself to be a completely Islamic nation. Libyan believers who tell others about Jesus risk arrest and violent opposition. Number 2, Somalia. In this highly restrictive Islamic society, even the suspicion of being a Christian is extremely dangerous. Converts who are discovered may instantly pay with their lives. And at number 1, North Korea. This remains the most costly place in the world to be a Christian. Even owning a Bible is illegal. Jiho's father was taken away when security agents discovered his secret book. She never saw him again. Christians are sent to appalling labor camps or simply killed on the spot.
We'll take a short break, and when we return, we chat with Deacon Derek Walcott about the Carnival Band, remember that, and we'll also fill you in on some more stories. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Altos here on Trinity TV. Well, our guest this week is none other than Reverend Deacon Walcott, and we're talking, well, we're in the midst of Carnival, so this is one of the topics that Reverend Deacon is very close to. And Deacon, welcome to Altos. And let's start with the Carnival Band. It was part of our history a few years ago, and it's no longer part of the Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. What happened to the Carnival Band?
I just want to let you know something. If you go back to Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon's article of 2023, he says, Carnival, evolution or cycle? I just want to let you know it's a cycle. We're coming back.
Okay, good. So we're somewhere on that journey.
Yes, we're on that journey. We're on that journey.
Right. So the band started, I think, early 2012, somewhere around there, for a few years, at least on the road. I know some planning went into it before that. But give us a little quick history on how it started and what happened to it. It's not around in 2024 this year. Why did it stop?
Well, let's start out where it began. Archbishop Joseph Harris, he was then Father Joe Harris, was the parish priest of St. Anthony's at that time. And in one of our Carnival Friday jump-ups, he said, Derek, let me bring out a Carnival band. And that's where it started. Right. You know, he was still Father Joe Harris, parish priest of St. Anthony's. We're on a Friday afternoon jumping up just before Carnival, and he just tickled my imagination. And immediately what I went, and I said, you know, Father, that's a fantastic idea. And living opposite me was Jack Williams, and we had Bobby Ammon, who was next door, and so on. And these were mass men. I mean, they were from the early Hearts days, the Mavericks days, and so on. So I immediately went to Jack Williams, Uncle Jack, and I said, listen, Father Joe just gave me an idea. He says he wants to bring out a Catholic Carnival band. And immediately, Uncle Jack started to give me notes on what goes into the organization of bringing out a Carnival band. And that's where it began. That was kind of like the genesis. And then next thing you know, Archbishop Edward Gilbert asked Father Joe to go and study canon law. And then right after that, Deacon Derek went in to study to become a deacon. And so it went down it literally went to sleep for a couple of years. And then when Archbishop Joe came back, and then I was ordained a Catholic deacon, we just said, it's the right time. And so it began.
Right. So and what year did the band actually hit the streets?
2011.
2011.
So we went to 2011, and we decided that we would bring out a book in the Bible.
Right.
So every year we brought out a book in the Bible. So we began with Genesis. right? And every year it was one of the books in the Bible. So we went Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus, and all of these amazing, books in the Bible, and we ended with Deuteronomy, and that's when we stopped the carnival.
Why did it stop?
Well, what people don't know, who are not in mass, and I'm just saying this, it takes a lot of time and effort to bring out a carnival band, and money. And so these things, the time, the effort, the money, and so on, they challenged us in terms of, continuing to bring out the carnival band. So we just said, let's pause. Let's look at it again, And as I just mentioned, evolution is a cycle, becoming again.
Right. Was it one of the reasons it stopped because there wasn't that buy-in? People weren't participating, at least the expected amount to at least make a break-even position?
It was wonderful for me to take part in this whole thing. The Word and Associates, which is what we call, that was actually the name, but people called it the Catholic Carnival Band, but the real name was the Word and Associates. I want you to remember the Word and Associates, so we dealt with the Bible.
Right.
Okay? It cost a lot of money, and in bringing out any new thing, it will take time. And it will take a lot of money and a lot of effort, and it was taking a lot of time, money, and effort, And I think that at that point in time, too, if we look at the economics of Trinidad and Tobago, we also went through that period where the economy was not very good. And we were putting out money from our own pockets to be able to fund the band. And at that point in time, we just had to pause because it was costing a lot of money.
Did you get the buy-in that you would have wanted from, let's say, the overall Catholic population across the country, or was it more Port of Spain centric and would have been, that's been one of the
Excuse me.
reasons?
We had people coming from all over the world to play in this band.
Right.
We won Band of the Year in the second year, where we came out with the book of Exodus. We partnered with Exodus Steel Orchestra. So here you had a carnival band, full costume, not a sailor band, but a full costume band with steel band. So that was so attractive, and a lot of people from all over the world, from Canada, from the United States, they came back from Venezuela, they came to play in this Catholic Carnival band. So it wasn't only people of Port of Spain. We had some nuns playing in the band too. The only, and a couple priests kind of tempted to come in the band. But we had, I would say, a number of people from internationally and both nationally that played in the band, from as far northeast as Toco to as far southwest as Icacos.
And you were telling me before our interview that a Catholic carnival band actually started in Antigua many years before Trinidad.
Yes, we had Archbishop Reese, and I'm glad that you asked me about that, because Archbishop Reese ran a carnival band for 17 years in Antigua. For 17 years, he ran this band in Antigua. And he came to help us launch the band. So he came in the band house. By the way, the band, our first mass camp was in the Marriage Tribunal's office, which was run by Father Joe Harris at that time. And Archbishop Reese came in, and he really, encouraged us and told us what his journey was like. So yes, he ran it for 17 years. Right. And he was extremely successful.
So let's fast forward now, Reverend Deacon, to 2024. Looking at the overall carnival landscape, we know that carnival has its roots in Catholicism.
Definitely.
Where do you see our carnival now? And are we gradually losing that link to our faith in the carnival?
I want to go back to Archbishop Jay's article of 2023. When he spoke about Minchel's 1983 portrayal of the river. And in it, it was a trilogy. And at the end of the trilogy, Man Crab kills Washerwoman. But Washerwoman will reincarnate, So I would like to think that we will come again. And right now we're going through a whole process of just rethinking this, because we're getting a lot of challenges from all around. In his own article and in our own look at Carnival, it has become very commercial. So it's all about making money. We, on the other hand, did all our designs right here through, our first design was done right by the station manager, Lisa Badger, and she designed the first band. And then we had Gregory Medina and so on. They helped us with the other designs, you know. And so I see it as something going to happen again. Yes, there are challenges, and we have to give it. Big money talks, but we are the mustard seed. We are the mustard seed, and we're gonna come again.
Okay, well, that's where we have to leave it, Deacon Walcott. I know we're quickly out of time, but thank you very much for joining us, and we certainly look forward to whatever form and vision another Catholic Carnival band will take, and the Catholic involvement in Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Reverend Deacon Walcott chatting with us about the Catholic Carnival Band and what we can look forward to in the future. We'll be right back after this break.
Altos, from the Latin altus, meaning high. Every Friday night we feature the top news items hot off the press. We are taking a leap of faith on Trinity TV. Jump in with us for this new and exciting experience.
And our clergy anniversaries this week, well, we congratulate our first group of permanent deacons who celebrate their 14th anniversary. Archbishop Edward Gilbert presided over their ordination on February 6, 2010 at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. Reverend Walcott, who was our guest earlier on the program, among those that group of deacons ordained back in 2010. While staying in the region, Bishop Francis Allain of Georgetown, Guyana, marked the 20th anniversary of his episcopal ordination on the 30th of January. Our correspondent, Kaylan Jordan, brings us highlights from a special mass held in Guyana.
Born in Pointe-à-Pierre, Trinidad, Bishop Allain's journey began at the age of 21 when he joined the Benedictine Abbey at Mount St. Benedict in Tunapuna, Trinidad. After dedicating 30 years to the monastery, serving the last 8 as abbot, Bishop Allain was ordained to the priesthood on July 7, 1985. Pope John Paul II appointed him Bishop of Georgetown on November 10, 2003. His episcopal ordination took place Friday, January 30, 2004 at the Brickdam Cathedral.
Yes, I can look back on 20 years and identify some moments where they have been disappointing or experienced some inadequacy, or where things didn't always meet expectations. But the government is just a sense of privilege to be able to be part of this church.
I am Kaylan Jordan for Catholic News, Altos.
Congratulations to Bishop Allain. Well, here's a look at some of the events coming up in our Archdiocese over the next week. And to tell us more about what's in the Catholic news this weekend, here's editor Raymond Sims.
In the February 4th issue of the Catholic News, the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service is looking for tutors. Learn about the education system in prison and perhaps be inspired to volunteer to teach. And read how a diagnosis of glaucoma inspired this former junior mass band leader to create another band this year. I am Raymond Sims, editor of the Catholic News.
Make sure and pick up your copy. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to Altos here on Trinity TV. There's a lot going on in the Trinidad and Tobago during this carnival season. If you have time, you can make sure and pay a visit to the John Cupid Village at the Queen's Park Savannah, where there are nightly entertainment shows of varying types. And you can visit the National Carnival Commission's Facebook page for the schedule of events. See you next week.